Welcome back to another MECH 1000 video. In this video, we're going to start working on drawing 10-4. This is an assembly drawing that contains multiple parts. So I'm going to focus on one part per video. And in this video, we're going to start with the cap. So I'm going to start by making a few rectangles. Let's check my layer here. Yeah, we'll just go with the 0 layer. So I'm going to start a rectangle, and I'm going to start with a 7x3 rectangle. So at 7, 3, and then I'll follow that up with a 4x6 rectangle. And I'm going to just draw them completely separately first. I'm not going to worry about trying to get that rectangle in the correct position. So it's 6 inches long and 4 inches tall. Okay, so now I can move this rectangle into position. I'm going to move it. Let's check my object snap. No, I do have midpoint turned on. There it is. Midpoint of that line to the midpoint of that one. And then with the horizontal difference of 1 inch, that means I want to move this one over ½ inch. Okay, and then I'll trim that dimension like this, those lines like that. Now, these outside corners need to have a fillet. So I'm looking at the drawing to see there's a general note down at the bottom. Note fillets and rounds 1/8 radius except as noted. And there's nothing here indicating that they are otherwise, so that means they must be the standard 1/8. So radius 0.125 is 1/8 of an inch. So I can round off this corner. And I'm just hitting the space bar to repeat the previous command. Okay. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna fillet that as well. And, well, maybe yeah, I don't want to do that quite yet. What I will do first is draw a line. I'll draw a line through the center, just so I know where the center line of this shape is. And then I've got 2 lines that are 3½ inches apart. Those are the center lines of the semicircular grooves at the bottom of this part. So half of 3½. Again, I'll show you where you can access a calculator here in AutoCAD. If we got 3.5 and we divide that by 2, that gives us 1.75. So if I use an offset command, 1.75, I can offset this to the right and to the left. I can take these 2 lines then and put them onto the center layer. And the center line shouldn't end right on the edge of the part. It should extend a little bit beyond. So I'll turn back on my grid snap so I can maybe take it two snaps. 1, 2. The exact length here doesn't really matter, just as long as it extends past the edges of the part. So I got those in place so that I can use them to trim here like that. And then I can go back and place these fillets. Okay, so by filleting those corners, it trimmed the line off a little more than I really wanted it to. So I'll have to come back in and redraw these lines. And it is occurring to me that we could probably take advantage of some of the symmetry of this part. We could probably use some mirror commands to reduce the amount of work. But I've already come this far, so I might as well keep going with this method. I want to, again, add a fillet here. After I've created the fillet, I don't really need that little line that's left over. I just wanted that little fillet curve. So I can just take those little lines and delete them. Okay, the little semicircle grooves on the bottom of this part, they have a radius of 0.75, so I'm going to offset a distance of 0.75. I'll offset this to the right and the left, and the right and the left, and then these lines become hidden lines. Not center, they're hidden. And sometimes I see students leave hidden lines extending out beyond the edge of the part, just like a center line, and that should not be the case. The hidden lines are actually representing a real physical, tangible characteristic of the part, and they have a specific termination point. They're not like center lines that are just imaginary. Center lines don't really exist. They're not really something you could see on the physical part, so we can extend them as long as we want to. But these hidden lines, where the part ends, that's where the hidden line should end. Okay, so I've got my hidden lines, I've got my center lines, I've got the fillets. Doing pretty well here. I think I just need to add the holes on the top view, then I'll be ready to switch to the front view. And so these holes are 33/64. So let's see what that is as a decimal. 33 divided by 64, 0.515625. Okay, so I'm going to make one hole right up here with a diameter of 0.515625. And then I'll just move this into place. That hole should be aligned with this line right there. I'll take that circle there and I will copy it to the midpoint of that line. And then the two holes on this side should be 1.5 inches apart. So I'll just, half of that is 0.75. So move that up 0.75 and then copy it down 1.5. And these holes aren't supposed to be right on that hidden line. They're supposed to be aligned with this edge right here. So now I'll move them over. So you don't always have to draw stuff initially in its final resting place. You can draw it anywhere you want to and then move it into position. So now I think I will take advantage of some symmetry here. I'm going to mirror those two holes across to that side. I'm going to mirror this hole across to the bottom. Then I can get rid of that and add some center marks. Let's turn off that snap mode for now. It makes it easier to click on these circles if you turn off snap mode. Alright, let's give this a quick once over and see if we've got everything. Looks good to me. Let's throw some dimensions on here. So switch to your dimension layer and we can start putting some dimensions on here. I do like to turn on the snap mode when I place my dimensions to make sure that they're a nice even distance away from the part. So that's 7. That's 6. And that's 3.5. Now you notice my dimensions right now have too many decimal places. I'll fix that later. That dimension is 3. That dimension is 4. This dimension is 1.5. And then I've got my diameter here. So I'll start it off with an actual diameter dimension. Now that's giving me the decimal equivalent. So if I go to its properties, I can change this to, if I go down to primary units, I should be able to change this to fractional. But step up my precision level to 64ths. There we go. And we need to add some text to this dimension. So if I double click on it, I can add some additional text. All caps, drill 6 holes. Close the text editor. Alright, let's get rid of that properties box. How am I doing on time? About 12.5 minutes. Okay, let's see how far I can get here. Let's switch back to 0 layer. And I'll start by making some construction lines. Come down over to here, and then back up 1.25, and then back across to here. And then I'll just trim that construction line off. Okay, hidden lines for the holes, I can make those by, oops, that wasn't quite far enough. Let's drag that down a little bit more. I can draw lines from the circle above, straight down to there, trim it, and then make these into hidden lines. I can switch over my layer to center, annotate, go with the centerline bisector option there, and then let's mirror that. Get the same thing over here on the other side. I'm going to copy this because we also have a hole at the center. Okay, so there are my 3 holes. Now let's draw a line down here. I'll just stretch it down just to get the center of that semicircle. And it has, you could draw an arc. I tend to draw circles and then trim them. It's maybe not the most efficient way to do it, but that's the way I do it. Radius is 0.75. Alright, and it looks like I'm just about out of time. So I didn't quite get to finish this cap. Looks like I'll have to finish this up in the next video. So I'm going to stop right here and pick it up in the next video.